Hey everybody, good morning. This is good day. This is Paul Romero with the Sell a House Wholesale Real Estate Investing number 155 on August 21st, 2015. Happy birthday, Ma. This is Freedom Friday, and let me start off by saying I do apologize for all the noise. There's some construction going on around here. I got loaders and all kinds of things running around, but I have to be out front here because I'm waiting for a delivery of some material to do some work on my own house here. So anyway, apologize for all the noise and the background noise here, but we're going to go through this anyway and hopefully not try to let that distract us too much. On Wednesday, John and I were talking about negotiating sellers, and that's a very, very good subject. And we talked about how new op days, we're going to start going through the book written by Dale Carnegie some time ago called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I tell you, that's a very, very good book. It's a great place to start. There's other books out there that you can read, obviously, but this is the core basics of, just dealing with people, understanding how people think and operate and work, and how to connect with people and how to get people interested in you. The very interesting thing about how to get people interested in you is by you being interested in them. That's the interesting thing about it. And a lot of interesting there. But anyway, so we're going to do that starting on Monday. And I'm really excited for that because it's a great book. It's got a real clear delivery of the information in simple forms that really make it easy to grasp the principles of how to negotiate and deal and talk with and relate to other people. And that is a big key to success in real estate, because real estate is a relationship business. So if you are not very good at building relationships, obviously you might not be very good at being successful at real estate, at wholesale real estate. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. Today I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about I had an interesting thought the other morning, and I was curious about how many billionaires, I'm not quite sure where this whole thing came from, but I was curious about how many billionaires there are. What percentage of the population really are billionaires? Now, I don't know what the world population actually is, but according to the total number of billionaires that I found as of September of last year, about a year ago, so obviously this number has increased. I don't know by how much. That's a very interesting statistic I'm trying to find right now. But in September of 2014, there were actually 2,325 billionaires registered in the world. Now that might seem like a large number, but like I said, in reality to the world population, which is, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a lot, that would mean that realistically there's probably less than 1% of the population are billionaires. Now obviously millionaires are going to be a much higher number, but the interesting thing that I saw was that it showed that from 2013, over the course of 1 year, that a record high number of new billionaires were added to the list. And that was a total of 155. That's a lot, in reality. I mean, $1 billion is a lot of money. So for 155 people to be added to the list of billionaires in the course of 1 year, that's almost one every other day. Yeah, pretty close. One every other day and a quarter, day and a half, day and a third, something like that. A new billionaire was added to the list. People are getting rich right now. I mean, that's really what this points out, is that there is a lot of wealth being generated in the world right now. And for a lot of you, you might be looking at this going, well, how come I'm not generating any of this wealth? And that is, where Property Noodlers system can help you get started in the right direction anyway to building the wealth. And the reason why we talk about the mindset a lot and want to do the negotiating thing with the how to win friends and influence people on money on new up days is because that is a key element into how people become wealthy. So a couple of things that I wanted to also point out about my findings about the billionaires, which is I found quite interesting, is that let's see here. Where do I want to start here? The male to female billionaire ratio, quite interesting. In male billionaires, now I didn't have a statistic of male versus female billionaires. I didn't find that statistic anywhere, so I don't know how many males compared to females there are. But on the male portion of the billionaires, 90% of them are married, 6% of them are divorced, 3% are single, and 2% are widowed. In the female side, whereas the males of 90% are married, only 65% of the females are married, whereas 10% of the males, or 6% of the males are divorced, 10% of the females are divorced. I wonder how many come out of the never mind. Anyway, 10% of the female billionaire population is divorced. Out of the singles, the male billionaire population, 3% is single, 4% of the female billionaire population is single, and in the males, 2% of the male billionaire population is widowed, whereas 21% of the female population is widowed. So that right there, that one's an interesting concept. That kind of tells me that, what, 20% from 65 to 85, which brings it up to where the married male billionaires are at 90%. If you took 19%, the 19% difference of the widowed female billionaires and add that to the married female billionaires, that goes up to 85%. So that's kind of a huge thing. So I think what this really points out is that there's obviously a lot more men, I believe, creating billionaire wealth status than there are women. Not to any detriment of women. I'm not really just trying to point that out. Just an interesting statistic. So the next thing that I saw was that billionaire status is generally not achieved until the late 40s. That's an interesting thing. So it takes time, obviously, to build up to billionaire status. And, a lot of these obviously start, probably at a younger age than where you're starting right now. It also said that the average age of the billionaires is 63. So there's not too many in the late 40s, but the average age is 63, and the average net worth is 3.1 billion. So there's a number of people with a lot of billions, and a number of people with, just reaching the billionaire mark. The interesting thing that I saw here is that the combined wealth of the billionaire population increased over a 1-year period of time 12%. From 2013 to 2014, the combined wealth of all the billionaire population increased 12%, up to $7.3 trillion. I didn't do the math on that. I didn't divide well, obviously they did. I guess if you divide 7.3 trillion by 2,325 billionaires, you come up with an average of $3.1 billion a piece. That's a lot of money. Now, I don't know if all of you guys are, interested in becoming billionaires with, beginning with wholesale real estate and working your way towards that. But, this just gives you an idea, like I said, of the potential for building wealth in this world today. 63% of billionaires' primary companies are privately held. They're not public companies. So that's a huge factor. Privately held companies. And most billionaires are residing in the U.S. This year, not this year, but from 2013 to 2014, of the 153 new billionaires added, the U.S. led that list with 57 new billionaires. Asia was followed a pretty close second with 52 new billionaires added. And Latin America wasn't too far behind with 42 new billionaires added. That in and of itself right there is 100, that's 151 out of 100. Only 4 billionaires were added outside of the US, Asia, and Latin America throughout the world. Only 4 other billionaires were added to the list. So that kind of tells you where the money's at. And it even showed out that in Africa and the Middle East, the number of billionaires actually declined. So 2 areas to obviously be a little bit careful about or worried about. Most new billionaires they were talking about, and this is of the 155 that were added, most of the new billionaires inherited a portion of their fortune. So, I mean, obviously, and we're probably talking about millions here, but they built upon that through their own entrepreneurial endeavors to actually achieve the billionaire status. So, the good news is that even though most of them started out this way, not all of them did. So there's a chance for you and I to still get there. Some of the billionaire industries. This is where people are making their billions of dollars. And this is a very good indicator here of why wholesale real estate is a great place for you guys to get started in building wealth, because the billionaires are in basically 5 major categories here, 5 major industries, which are finance and banking. So obviously, if you're going to work in the loan industry, that's finance. So that's part of real estate. So you can work towards that, working from wholesale real estate and working your way towards lending and banking. I don't know if you're going to be able to own a bank one day, but I don't know how that works as far as being in banking. I can't imagine that, bank managers and things like that are making billions of dollars. It's probably got to be the owners of the banks somehow. Industrial conglomerates, so that's a huge category right there, obviously. Real estate, yay! Manufacturing and textiles, which that I'm assuming is probably where a large portion of the Asian and Latin American billionaires were added, opposed to the U.S. billionaires, because the U.S. just really isn't a manufacturing and textile nation. So I don't think out of the 57 new millionaires from the United States that very many came out of the manufacturing and textiles industry. I would say more of them came from the banking and finance, probably some from the industrial conglomerates, some from the probably a pretty good portion from the real estate, and probably a pretty good portion from the last category, which is apparel and luxury goods. That's an interesting one to me. Apparel and luxury goods. Really? Apparel is that huge Are we that fashion conscious that we can actually make people billionaires in the apparel industry? Luxury goods, those two things right there, that also got to tell us that, there is a lot of money out there being spent. There's a lot of opportunity in this world because there's a lot of money moving around. So there's people with money, and you can have money too. You just need to get started in something. You just need to think of a new mind, think with a new mindset and put your efforts into, achieving some success in some new area. Um, how easy is it going to get for you? Easy is it for you to, get something started in banking and finance? Probably not very easy. How easy is it for you to get something started, in industrial conglomerates? Probably not very easy. How easy is it going to be for you to get something started in manufacturing and textiles? Probably not very easy. How easy is it going to be for you to get something started in apparel and luxury goods? Manufacturing, maybe, a little bit. Textiles, I don't know, probably kind of difficult. Apparel and luxury goods, maybe, I don't know, that might be kind of difficult. Apparel, it might be easy, but I think apparel is very competitive. I'm sure you guys have all watched Shark Tank. I recall an episode of a couple of guys with some new tennis shoes, and the big thing that the Sharks had, the reason why nobody got behind these two guys, was that there's so much competition. How are you guys going to compete against Nike? And things like that. And so, yeah, the apparel industry, maybe easy to get started, but to build a billionaire or a millionaire company may be a little more difficult. Real estate, on the other hand, obviously, property noodlers, very simple to get started, and also not just simple, but very cheap. If you're going to start an apparel company, or you're going to try to start something in manufacturing or luxury goods or textiles, or starting to build an industrial conglomerate, or get started in finance or banking, you're going to need a massive amount of capital to get started. Real estate, getting started, wholesale real estate, you don't need hardly squat as far as capital goes to get started. That's why this is so powerful. Real estate is a billionaire industry, and you can get started in it, well, with the property noodler system for nothing. We don't charge. There's no charge in that. And you can get going and get things started and start building an income, and then start building some wealth, and then start building some passive income, and then start building, whatever it is that you want to achieve through wholesale real estate. So that's why, I wanted to go through this kind of billionaire information here, is to bring it back around to, where are billionaires made, where are they thriving and running their businesses, and how can anyone achieve billionaire status without having, being one of those people who inherited a part of your fortune. If you inherited a part of a fortune, yeah, you can. If you inherit a few $1,000,000 or whatever, could you get started in the apparel industry? Sure. Could you get started in luxury goods? Sure. Manufacturing, textiles? Sure. Finance, if you got millions of dollars, yeah, you can start lending money right, tomorrow. Banking, could you start building some sort of an industrial conglomerate if you've got millions of dollars to start with? Absolutely. Could you, of course, do something in real estate? Yeah. But if you're not that person that's going to inherit millions of dollars, to have a launching pad to build your wealth from, to make it to the billionaire status, how are you going to get there? Where are you going to start? Real estate. Number 5 actually number 3 on the list. I don't know if these were in any kind of an order or not, but it was the third one listed. So that's I think pretty compelling evidence that, for you, if you're thinking about doing something real estate related, how to get started in it, and when I say real estate related, and I'm not to put down real estate agents, but getting, if you're thinking about real estate, if you're thinking about creating wealth for yourself, and you're thinking about getting into real estate, and you're thinking about getting a real estate license and becoming a realtor, well, that's a good job, but jobs don't create wealth. Investing is what creates wealth. So getting involved with real estate investing is a big difference from getting involved with real estate sales, and that being, as an agent or broker, etc. Now, I'm not saying that agents and brokers don't make a lot of money. I will say statistics do show that very few make a lot of money. And how many of them are billionaires? That statistic, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you that it's probably very few, very, very few probably. So investing, real estate investing. And once you get started in real estate investing with wholesale investing, and you build up and you've got money coming in and you've created passive income and you've built sort of a real estate net worth, there's nothing to say you can't branch out and start building net worth and wealth in other areas. And I would highly suggest it, because you certainly want to have, insurance in this world. You don't want to be one of those people who got caught in 2008 when the real estate market collapsed, which is going to happen again because it happens all the time. It goes up and it crashes, and it goes up and it crashes, and it goes up and it crashes, and that's just the way it is. Is it going to crash again like 2008? Maybe, maybe not. Eventually, yeah. How soon? Some people predict not very far. Some people predict, quite a ways out. Who knows? But, if you're all invested in just one thing, let's just say real estate, and it crashes, where are you? You're crashing with it. So you want to build your wealth in real estate, and then you want to diversify your wealth and start building wealth in other areas, and so, but you got to start somewhere building wealth. And if real estate is a billionaire industry and you can get started for virtually nothing, why wouldn't you do so? Why would you be thinking about anything else? That's all I got to say about that. So pretty interesting statistics. I don't know really what got me interested in looking up the percentage of billionaires, but I'm glad I did, because this is some very, very insightful stuff as to what it takes to become successful in this world. Now, those are avenues, right, of how to become successful. And again, on New Op Day, we're going to be starting to talk about the Dale Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is one of the key elements. Okay, these are avenues to success, right? But you can go down any avenue, and if you aren't prepared for what's coming or for what it takes to go down that avenue, you're not going to go very far, and you'll end up giving up and falling back, which is one of the problems that people have. So dealing with people, I'll tell you what, it's kind of a lost art amongst the masses. I mean, seriously, for an example, just next time you're at the store, whether it be the supermarket or the mall or whatever, just look at the people standing in line. Are they interacting with other people? How many, one in very few people will interact with anyone else, because we don't have people skills. We don't have, you might yourself think that, oh, I'm a people person, right? But look at yourself when you're standing in line at the store next time, and are you trying to engage in a conversation with another human being? Or are you, doing like everybody else and just watching or playing on your phone or whatever the case might be. People skills, that is a huge, huge key to serious success, to any success, is people skills. And so we're going to start working on that big time come new up day and every new up day from here forward. So I can guarantee you that of this 2,325 billionaires in the planet, that they have very, very good people skills, that they know how people think and they know how to converse with people in a way that gets people on their side, in a way that gets people behind them, in a way that gets people excited and enthused about them and what they're doing and opportunities that they have and offer, in a way that gets people wanting to work with them, in a way that gets people, you know, willing to sell to them or willing to buy from them. You know, that's where the people skills come from. And that's where negotiation skills come from. And that's where persuasion skills come from. All of those things, all very important factors in success. You know, it's said that people will buy from someone they like, even if they have an inferior product to the guy right next door who sells the same thing. Or people will buy what is appealing to the eye, even though the guy right next door has the same thing for a lesser price. It's all about how people perceive things, and understanding how people do that is part of your people skills. Understanding how the mind works and how people think, and being able to, like I said, converse with other people and present yourself to other people in ways that is appealing to them. That's really what the negotiations is all about, is presenting yourself in a way that's appealing to others. So we're going to be getting into that. Anyway, everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope you got some very interesting information out of this. I know that I think this is some pretty cool information here. And again, you know, where can anyone, an average person, get started? Well, propertynoodlers@gmail.com. That's one great place to get started in real estate, because real estate is obviously the one billionaire industry that anybody can get started in for virtually nothing. So why wouldn't you? I mean, I don't understand why my email address isn't just blowing up with people standing in line begging to be to the front of the line and wanting to get in on figuring out how to do this. Sorry, I just got something stabbed my finger. So anyway, happy new up day, happy Freedom Friday, everybody. Go out and make it a great pinnacle. Think about it this weekend. What is it that you want from life? Do you want more? How are you going to get it? Where are you going to start? What's a good way? How about some wholesale real estate? Join the Property Noodler team, get started for nothing, and get going and making money almost immediately. All right, everybody, we're out of here. Enjoy. Thanks.